Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online. Welcome back to sisi as well. This is going to be another mass test, and I actually think that this is going to be a pretty interesting one, because in today's mass test we should have the new visuals for shields and armor. So during the PvP battle, I think that is where I will try to focus on. But for now, I will also try and do the first parts, I think, in the tactical camera. I feel that this could be how I will generally experience EVE Online once this option comes out. And here it is at the moment. I did get rid of the brackets just to try and get performance to work a little bit decently. And can I find myself in this huge ball of... yeah, here I am, right there. Nope, that's not me. Then that's not me either. This is me in an Armageddon orbiting the gate at 1,000 meters. The channel was just set to default, so we should be starting any moment now, and we have 416 people in local. So looks like it's going to be another decently good-sized mass test, which could be interesting for the performance. But yeah, I do like the tactical camera. The fact that it's completely disconnected means that you can view all of this from any angle. So let's maybe just dive just below. And okay, welcome everyone. Please have a read the above instructions and make sure that you're clear on each of the steps. If I'm not mistaken, it's just the classical one. Jump to XBV, align to the POS, warp to the POS, shoot the control tower, jump to point out, set up a gate camp, jump to point out and fight, and then observe shiny new damage effects. So that's yeah, that's going to be what this one is about: performance and of course the new shield effects. Let's try to keep a little bit of an eye on them. Maybe we can see some shield effects already if someone decides to shoot or boost potentially. Again, a lot of capitals here, a lot of carriers, dreads, things like that. Could be interesting. And I have the gate selected, so that's looking alright. Let's hope that there are not too many destroyers that will warp parts of the fleet away just as we're about to do the jump. And let's do orbit at 1,000 again. Okay, I'm actually at 1,100, so it's alright. And to find myself back, it's actually easier than I thought. It's right at the center of the grid, so that's actually working out quite okay. 435, a couple of titans as well. These look like pretty massive on the grid here, pretty cool. And we've got more stuff coming in. If I look from over there, I think you can see the grid from how far away we can actually see them. They're still in warp, boom, there he goes through the warp tunnel, and then now arriving in a Dominic's at the gate. So the grids have been really long. And is that someone way up here? Yes. Okay, cool stuff. This tactical view does provide you with cool information like this. I like it. Of course, it looks like a big white stain here, big source of light right on my height, but that's actually okay. And here is the first shield effect. I think it's a boost from the carrier. Let's see if he keeps boosting. I thought it was this one. Anything happening here or not? XBV selected, I'm at the gate and I'm in range to jump, so we should be alright. And no more shield effect. Oh no, there goes what looks like one of those destroyers. That actually shook the whole grid. But I'm still here. And CCP Sledgehammer is trying to get everyone together on the gate. Let's just try to zoom out. Is there a group that's like away, 100 kilometers away? Maybe a couple guys over here. What are these? Can I click on them? Kronos and a Megatron. Alright, and now we can actually get back. Since we've not jumped yet, one thing that someone said in the comments when I was doing a test here, you can press Alt, then select something. And if you can actually if you're close enough, I think, to select it, it will actually put that at the center of the screen, whatever it is that you've selected. So that does work and is pretty cool. Of course, with a hectic grid like this, it's bound to be a little more tricky and buggy. But if there's like only a dozen ships or so, it works very nicely actually. I should really re-grab the station like that, the gate like that, and be ready. As local increases to 450, performance 50 frames per second in this camera mode with everything on. Maybe I could try it. Let's do a quick look at in this camera mode, what does performance look like? Pretty much the same. So this is the orbit camera, which is still pretty buggy. From time to time you actually do run into trouble with that camera view, so I prefer tactical camera. And then we can also go first person. Oh, this is beautiful. For videos, this is pretty amazing. Here we get bumped by the other one. That, oh my god, you know, just have something at the right speed, zoom through a big space battle in a view like this. It's gonna be quite something, I think. Like this, what is the background? Well, maybe I don't know. This from here it actually looks okay. Maybe a little too pixely, too close, but it actually looks somewhat alright. What I don't really like is how many stars are visible. But maybe that's just about something that you need to get used to, you know, that new field of view. Oh, alright. We're actually jumping in just a few seconds, so let's get back into tactical 0, and then when he says jump, I'll press jump. Maybe the 0 was meant to be the jump. Go, go, go. All right. And I'm going through. Let's see. We get the usual message here, 170 seconds. A little bit of tie-dye coming in. It's already gone. And this transition, longer than what we're used to. We did get a little performance glitch right there, so I think I'm on the other side. And here we land. So that is something. Now here is my tactical camera. I'm actually pretty far away from everything, so that is not entirely good. Can I alt select something or maybe go like this? Aha, that's very interesting. What I just did here is I selected something in the overview and I just alt clicked it to make that the center of the camera. Very, very nice little discovery here. That's definitely going to help get the camera back in on the action, potentially on the enemy fleet as well, keeping a closer eye on what they're doing. And so here is everyone decloaking, and I should be somewhere here at the center. And frames per second, 60 frames per second, and here I am still cloaked because the timer is still running. What I could do is go distance, pause warp in align 2, then I should be decloaking. There's a shield effect right there on the Macarial. That looked pretty cool. Distance going down. And here we are in tactical view, everyone around the gate and pretty much below me. So I actually spawned pretty high. There was a little performance drop here again. Fleet X warp to the beacon. So that's Fleet X warping off. Look at how big the grid is. And here is Fleet W. Which I'm apparently in the wrong fleet. Leave fleet, confirm. Fleet W, let's press an X if I still can. Someone just invited me. And here we go. I'm actually in the fleet with 190 people. Let's get back into Mast Fleet W. Accept the fleet warp from Antiquarian. Unfortunately, I am a little bit late because I was in the wrong fleet, but I can get there myself, I think. Pause. Oh, no, I made it just in time into the fleet. So here goes the fleet warp, tactical camera view. So that's the Titan and the rest of the fleet here. And I can actually still look around freely, get a nice angle. This is the one that I would usually take. And seems to work pretty nicely. And again, Of course, there is nothing on the overview right now. Can I alt select during a warp? No. So the camera is a little bit stuck or unresponsive, but that is because we are in warp, probably not on a grid, so I think it's normal. And here I am. This is definitely a different experience, you know. This is me, this is my ship. Usually you're always the center of your client, the center of your attention, to be well aware of what happens, but now you're gonna have to pay much more attention to basically your shield, armor, structure and all of that here, whatever is in the selected items and your distance to it. But you have a much better view of like the entire grid potentially. Yeah, just taking a look at all of it that way. It's gonna take some getting used to. Now everyone is coming together in one big ball. The grid is catching up. And then we will be landing somewhere close to Fleet X. 415 local. Couple people coming behind us. There is some firing that has started. So I will try, I think, to get away from this place. So everything here is really close by. Let's see if there's something potentially on grid. Where is that guy? Right there at the front. Don't really like that. Here's a leopard all the way back. That's not too good either. Here we've got someone in a hurricane. My speed, well, just a little bit. But if I could just do an approach on him to try and get out of this big ball, and then I'll target the control tower, see how that's going. Half shield already. And do I have the range? 54 kilometers. Well, just not. We'll leave it at this for now. My frames per second though, ouch, that's quite a big hit. 20 FPS at the moment. So that's not too much. Let's activate the damage control. No tie-dye to report. And this is, yeah, tactical view of the battle going on. And Sledgehammer asking for the bubble to be taken down. Now the shield is dropping very, very quickly. So this will not last too long here. That's going quite nicely. You can also, you know, you can really zoom out quite a lot. Over here, I think those were all of those leopards, or are they up here? So that doesn't work that well. You know, I'm completely zoomed out, but the camera, I guess, doesn't know what I want to focus on. And I am a little bit afraid to go in here, but I also feel comfortable like this. I know, for instance, that I'm still pretty much stuck in that big ball of capitals and super capitals here. I am slowly making my way out of that fleet, so I know I'm still there. I took a little bit of shield damage while this happened. This one, yeah, it's a little annoying, but if you're far enough away, then this can actually be alright, I would say. I can also fire off my missile since we're at 52 kilometers. And can I zoom in on myself? Yeah, but performance-wise, it's definitely not perfect. Let's see if I can zoom in below the Titan. And here we are. So I'm firing here. Here's someone else in Armageddon Navy issue that's probably done the same thing and firing as well. And then just zoom up. Here is the Titan. Look how small and insignificant we are compared to that. That's pretty cool. It gives you a great sense of scale though. Just look at how huge the entire fleet is here. And then I can maybe select myself just to keep an eye on myself. Pretty interesting performance. Yeah, not really great, of course. 475 in local now. Stop using smart bombs. Pulse is going down quite okay. But I feel much more comfortable in this camera mode because I can actually really look around freely. It just feels a bit more better than going completely zoomed out, staying focused on my ship, and then using the tactical overlay. So this is much more intuitive, and I like the RTS aspects. I hope that they can reinforce that, so that, for instance, if I do this, that the the client or the camera would recognize that I'm trying to select everything in this box. It would maybe highlight them, and if I would then let go, it would actually zoom in on that box or something like that. That would be pretty cool. So it's not perfect yet, of course, but the potential I do think is there. Align point dots but do not warp, we'll do that. Stargate point dots align to. We can definitely do that. We can do a little bit of a reload. And once I'm through on the other side, I think I will try to go into the orbit camera and take a bit of a look that way. What you can always do, of course, is go like that if you want to focus on something different. Just alt-click whatever it is in your overview that you want to check out. So now everyone is going to start aligning towards point dot. You can see that happening as well. Ever so slowly, and I'm right here at the center of this grid. Okay, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but I think I could play EVE Online this way. I think I could get used to this type of scenery in general in EVE Online. For instance, if I would be mining, Fleet X, warp to point dots. Really? Is he going to switch fleets around? Normally it's W that goes first, but we will see. Maybe they want to do a second jump as well. So, for instance, when I'm mining, I could have the whole mining belt visible here, and then if rats or danger would come in on the grid, it would be a little bit easier. Oh, okay, Fleet X is actually going to set up the gate camp. Interesting. And Fleet W will be the ones doing the attacking. But yeah, I can definitely see myself using this and staying in a much more zoomed out position, just as a normal way of experiencing the game. W, hold for now. Better re-invite Fleet W, Sledge. Not sure what happened. Did we lose some people? Some people crashed and need a re-invite. Okay. So a few crashes. Performance-wise, we're at 30 frames per second in this view. Fleet is going back up to 200. We've got all of these leopards that are all the way up here, but you can quickly get a camera view on them. That's pretty cool. And finding yourself, yeah, it's actually quite doable if you know where to look for it. So here we go. Couple client crashes to report apparently. Luckily mine is doing quite alright. CSB Antiquarian, I think he's been doing a really good job for the Amar Championships, leading the panels there, the disc boys. It's been quite enjoyable to watch. $213, local is still at 400. Are they still in the process of going through there? It's possible. Let's see if we get any tie-dye. It's usually Fleet W that has to suffer that big jump at first. So that's our fleet here as well. A couple of Kaldari Titans. You can see quite a few carriers, dreadnoughts. Here's a micro jump that's happening. I do like that you can still see a lot of detail in this view. And we're taking the fleet warp. Or at least those that have accepted. So off we go. That goes off into infinity. You know what? Let's go into first person view for this fleet warp. I also love how you can just switch back and forth between the views. Here we are now 60 frames per second. There's not that much on the overview. So that's looking quite okay. And well, for a warp, why the hell not go into this view? Just to give your client a bit of a rest, I think. Performance is looking quite okay. The rest of the fleet is closing in on the right side. Of course, when we form Voltron, it's gonna be quite a mess, but then I'll just switch out to the tactical view, no problem. And here we go. Now this is of course not really the best of views, so we'll go back into tactical, but switching back and forth seems to be working quite okay, which I like, so that you have the options. The one thing that I would like to see, honestly, is just an FOV slider. Maybe just for the orbit camera, I'm okay with that. Maybe just as a general option in the game, that could be useful as well. But those camera options, I'm absolutely enjoying those quite a lot. So here we are landing at the Poitot gate. Let's just, as soon as I can, do an orbit on this so that I don't get bumped away too far. Performance here, 50 frames per second. Zoom out a little bit, we're back at 60. 220 members in our fleet. Let's just stop the wallet flashing here for a moment. And I will take the jump in this view. Oh my god, here comes the bubbles again. More stuff landing. Zoomed in 40 frames per second. I mean, that's still not that bad, but could be better, of course. Performance can always be better. Ready to jump, ready to fight. We'll see how that goes this time. Could be interesting. But as I've said, I'll probably try and get into orbit camera and try to take a look at ships under fire to see the shield effects, the armor effects, and not go after kills myself. Maybe I could start in this view, see if anything happens, or I could switch back. I think it could overall be a pretty interesting experience. Zoom in one more. So that's our big ball. Poitot gates a little bit too far away. Let's see if I can quickly burst this. Something just exploded. Fleedex in Poitot right now, please. Think they are. We are 212 local, 289. So I think most of Fleedex is in there. We're just gonna keep approaching. Yeah, Sledgehammer turning it around here. Fleedex going first. Fleet W going to go in here and do the fight. Couple sinos, a little bit of firing. Can I see at what? Maybe from this side. Not really all that well. That one looks like he's actually being fired upon. Let's see if we can go. Nope. Nope, now it's bugging out a little bit, trying to focus on that guy. He just exploded, so we'll be patient, just wait for the call. And, well, that's still quite a lot on the gate, which is weird. Are we fighting here or something? Not sure what happened. XBV, Poitot gate. Performance dropping because people have started actually fighting. Just give us the call. Everyone will go into Poitot and we'll get started, I think. just I think switching it around caused some confusion, and that's what's happening here now. People are lost. But no, I'm Fleet X. I'm supposed to stay on the gate. Fleet W should go through first. So there is a little bit of Dreadnought fire. Can't really see what it's on though. Everyone take the pointed gate if you haven't already. Fight in 5, 3, 2, 1. And here we go. We'll go through. I'll try to stay cloaked if I can. Right, decently performing jump here. So I'm way out here. But what I can always do is just alt click something and get into the fight view. I'm still cloaked. So let's see if there are some effects to be seen. Who is taking damage where? Right here. Oh dear. That feels like a crash. That is a bit of a crash. I'm actually back. Not sure what the hell just happened. But we are suffering some technical difficulties here at the moment. We are really suffering quite hard. I can't do anything. Okay, interesting. Let me just get back or crash.